I came across this story about a guy who basically spent years holding his family's life together. And now that he's finally built a life for himself, everyone expects him just to give it all up and go back, like that was always the plan. And the part that stuck with me is this: no one actually asked him, they just all assumed that he would. So this guy Ted is the oldest of 4 siblings, in his late 30s, and his family owns a farm, the kind that's been passed down for generations. Not a hobby farm either. This is a full-time, physical, constant work, crops, animals, the whole thing. Now Ted's parents are getting older, dealing with health issues, and it's becoming pretty clear that they can't keep doing this forever. So naturally the question comes up, who's going to take over? And that's where things get calm on the outside and unhinged inside. Because here's the thing about Ted. Growing up, he was the kid who stepped in. While his siblings were off doing their own thing, he stayed, worked the farm, helped his parents, put his own life on hold for years. Not because someone forced him, but because it needed to be done, and he felt that family responsibility. And then, in his mid-20s, something changed. He realised, I don't actually know what I want for myself. So he left, went to college, started figuring things out, and eventually built a completely different life, working remotely, travelling, exploring, just finally doing life on his own terms, which honestly feels like a pretty reasonable evolution. But now that his parents can't keep up with the farm anymore, everyone's kind of looking back at him like, well, obviously it's you. And this is where it gets a bit uncomfortable, because none of his siblings want the farm. They've all got careers, lives, and routines that they don't want to disrupt, which is fair enough. But instead of that being the end of the conversation, they basically decided that Ted should do it. Because he knows how, because he's done it before, because he makes the most sense. And the parents? They've started leaning into that idea as well. Not aggressively or in a demanding way, but in that soft, slightly disappointed tone that somehow feels worse. Like, we just always thought you would. And when he says that he's not sure, that he doesn't actually want to go back to that life, that's when the tone shifts. His siblings start calling him selfish, saying that he's abandoning family, bringing up everything that his parents had done for him. And this one really got me. They keep reminding him that he already gave years of his life to the farm, as if that somehow means that he would give more. So now Ted is stuck in this weird emotional limbo. On one side, he's finally living the life that feels like his, flexible, independent, and chosen by him. On the other side, there's this very real family situation, a farm that genuinely needs someone, parents who can't keep going, and siblings who are not stepping up. And the worst part, Ted actually gets it. He understands why someone needs to take over. He understands the pressure. He just doesn't want it to be him, because he knows exactly what life like that looks like. And he knows deep down, if he goes back, he's probably going to lose the version of himself that he spent years building. I don't know. With this one, on the surface, it sounds like a responsibility question, but it's actually more of an identity question. Like, at what point do you stop being the reliable one and start being your own person? And I think what makes this tricky is that he's not refusing out of laziness. He's refusing because he already knows the cost. He's lived it. Also, and maybe this is a slightly unpopular take, but I don't think past sacrifice creates future obligation. If anything, it should count the other way. Like, if someone has already stepped up more than everyone else, shouldn't they be the one who's allowed to step away? And the siblings? There's something a bit convenient about saying, I can't do it because of my life, while expecting someone else to give up theirs. As for the parents, I feel for them, because they're probably not trying to pressure him. They're just scared and don't want all their hard work to go to nothing. But that quiet expectation, it still sits there, like a rock. So yeah, I'm curious what you think about this one. If you're in his position, would you go back and take over the farm? Or is it okay to choose your own life, even if it means disappointing someone else? Thanks for judging that one with me on Am I the Arsehole But Zen. Let's see if your verdict changes next time.